Hello, class, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2 for this hour-long episode. Yeah, I'm making them long today, aren't they? Aren't I? Well, I'm making them long for this whole series because really these areas are big, and I even had to split this one up to like two almost hour-long series. So yeah, I'm gonna be making longer videos, although I'm gonna try to keep it a little more down, just like limit myself to one area or maybe just one bonfire to one bonfire so I can, well, it does take a while to film and edit all this stuff. Well, not really edit, but mostly just to film. But still, yeah. Let's go. So I'm gonna try to keep it a little bit further down from an hour, but I can't make any guarantees. I mean, these areas are big, and I want to finish them in one play session, that sort of thing. I'm trying to decide what weapon I should use here. It's tough. It's tough. Well, there's the mace for knocking down shields, the Heide Knight Sword for straight up lightning damage and maybe a quicker moveset. There's the broadsword for a slower moveset but more damage. I think I'll just go with the mace. Simple, does the most damage. Yeah. Let's jump down here. Take a little bit of damage, but it's not too bad. There's an archer hiding over here, so we're gonna have to knock him out pretty quick. They're simple enough, just be careful not to fall off. That's a major hazard in a lot of these areas, is falling off. It's also another problem is because the controls are... The controls are pretty decent. You don't fall off cliffs when you don't intend to, or you don't mess up with the buttons. So it's a pretty good game in that respect, at least. Let's see, a defensive royal soldier. Let's see, I have a few witching urns. I'm gonna throw them at him. Yay, damage. Yay, hollow soldiers. And smack. Yeah. And then throw another witching urn. Doesn't quite hit him. Do I have anything else? I do have this bow. Oh. Stop. See, the trick with having heavy armor is you can kind of just do that. Just kind of like go to your inventory and just cycle through your stuff just whenever you want. I mean, it's not a very good idea. You lose a lot of health and you have to waste one of your healing items, but, well, it worked here. As you can see, I'm dropping on this little house area. Not a lot of people do this, and there's actually a pretty nice item down here that a lot of people miss. Of course, I'm a full-on walkthrough, so I try to show everything that I possibly can. Makes sense that I go down to this little house place, even though it seems like there's not much at first. You can run over this way. An item a lot of people see, but not a lot of people get is a titanium shard. Really good this early on, that's for sure. So yeah, can't go that way, that's for sure. So let's move over this way and back this way. Yeah, and back up the ladder. There's quite a bit of backtracking in this little pit area next to the giant tree branch that leads you where you're supposed to go. Here's an archer. Eh. Hey, Archer, you want some magic? Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. Drugs are bad. And then I miss a plunging attack, as per usual. Smack this guy a few times with the basic light attack, because that's usually the most effective, as heavy attacks take longer and it's the same amount of hits. Let's not go that way. Even though you can't see down there, you can tell enough that there's no path. See down here, drops us right down to this little area here, and we have to go back up the ladder. Yeah, this area is probably one of the most annoying in the game, I'd say, in terms of backtracking at least. But at least it's small, so you don't have to worry too much about like walking all the way. And it's completely optional too, so if you don't want to do it, then that's fine. But you do get access to the mansion in Majula, which gives you a few secrets. The biggest of which I believe is a giant curved greatsword, which is pretty cool. Basically a greatsword designed to be used in flowing attacks. It's pretty nice. We'll talk about it when you get there. That's how you'd kill that guy if you were in melee. And of course we have to go back here. It's a little further along. So, in Dark Souls 2, there's almost always a way to kill an enemy within melee range. But usually it's easier to do it from far away. Because, well, you don't if you don't have to worry about them that much. And they all respawn anyway, so if you go through the area, you'd see that anyway. If you just ran through that area, you would have gotten clobbered by that boulder. So, obviously, you don't want to run through that area. And if you fall down this way, well, there's a giant hole of death. Tricks me every time. You just walk down the hole, it's like, oh, there's treasure, and then you're just dashing down because, you know, you just want to get there quick, and then you die.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just daydreaming, I think.
There's a guy.
My name is Heide. I'm a traveler like yourself. I'm navigating the continent to create a map.
Is there a map function in Dark Souls 2? No.
Cartography, you ask?
There's not.
Well, that's a good question. When I first came into this forsaken land, it was...
Nobody seems to remember why they came here.
something about a curse.
It's a little odd.
How embarrassing. I seem to have lost my focus. But I do know one thing for certain. I have always been very fond of maps.
Perhaps there's something in that mansion for this map-obsessed guy.
Some time ago. Drangleic, the Lost Kingdom. It sounded so romantic. Have you seen Majula? Well, there's a rather spacious mansion there. I made it my temporary home. Well, as something of a squatter, I'm afraid. Inside the mansion, I found a strange map, like none I'd ever seen. I believe that it's a map of Drangleic. Now I'm traveling the land to prove it. Yes. Yes, that's it. That's why I came to the kingdom. Wait. No. That wasn't it.
Nobody knows.
Then what?
Do we?
I don't seem to recall. Were you looking for that map? Wonderful. Then you're fascinated by maps, just like me. Shame on you. You should have told me before. Here, take this. A key to the mansion.
Haha!
What a joy to meet a kindred spirit out here. Incredible, really, isn't it? Such a map to be chiseled in stone.
Oh.
Oh, but one thing. I would not venture deep into the mansion. I can't be certain, but I've heard disturbing noises.
Oh, is this another area, perhaps? No, it's not. It's just an extension of Majula with enemies in it.
I'll be back in Majula soon. Perhaps we will meet again and discuss maps at our leisure.
Well, that sounds so interesting.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh yeah, we could talk about maps for ages, for sure, yeah. That was sarcastic. Let's not go that way. I mean, you could theoretically make that jump, but I'm gonna play it the safe way. Yeah, let's just head back down this way. And then make a right. And then make a forward. And then make a left, and then make an up. Did I explain how to sprint up ladders yet? I don't think I did. Anyway, so in the previous Dark Souls game, you could simply tap the B button when you were going down a ladder, and you start sliding down. In this game, it's slightly different. Tapping the B button, you let go of the ladder and start falling. This might not be what you want. So instead, you hold up and the sprint button, be it B or space or whatever you bound it to. And you hold up in the sprint button to sprint up the ladder, and you hold down in the sprint button to slide down the ladder. Sprinting up the ladder takes stamina, as you could probably expect, and sprinting down the ladder does not, because you're just sliding. So yeah, that's how you do that. In case I didn't explain it already. You can't backstab that guy. I've tried so many times, it just doesn't work. Now we could go up there. And in fact, we could summon someone to help us. But I don't think we're going to. Now, here's something I could probably explain while I'm here. No, I'll save that for later. No, power stancing. Power stance is what I was going to explain. It's where... Oh, that's a giant bird with a guy on it. That's the boss. That's up gonna be up here. He'll only be up here for one encounter, so I don't need to worry about him being up there permanently. But if you do manage to beat him, it counts as beating the boss forever. It's kind of nice. Anyway, so power stancing is when you dual wield two weapons of the same or generally the same type, and you get a special new move set. How it works is you have to have two weapons, and you have to have 1.5 times the stats required to wield each weapon. So, like, say you had the sword that you were trying to dual wield two copies of the sword that took 10 strength and 10 dex, and you have to have 15 strength and 15 dex to be able to power stance them together. So, oh, yeah, in case you're wondering, those barrels, those black ones, explode when they're connected to fire, so we're going to use a fire longsword to sugar them. And then open up a shortcut to the bonfire. There. So as I was saying, if you had 15 strength and 15 dex, you could dual wield the swords. If you had one in each hand, and you held down the dual wield button for the weapon in your left hand, as in holding down the dual wield button, you would be able to power stance said weapon. And your new left hand moveset would be a special dual wielding moveset where you would swing both weapons in some sort of intricate maneuver. Like, for example, with the two katanas, which is a special weapon you find later that's more about, like, one hit. It's like a dexterity weapon that focuses on getting in, like, a hit and then stunning them and then waiting a little bit and then hitting again for heavy damage. With katanas, if you power stance them, you swing with both katanas for your power attacks, basically. You just, like, take one and take the other, and you're like, you could just probably a weapon that does scissor cuts or something like that. I know for a fact that curved swords, the strong attack with the dual wield moveset is like you do like a spin attack and then scissor cut, and it's really cool looking. So I have a character specifically built around dual wielding katanas. He's fun, but his ranged isn't that great, which makes him not quite fun to play. So yeah, power stancing. Glad I explained that. I'll probably showcase it a bit later, maybe explain it again, but well, now you know. I'm just going to use my bow up here while locking on and two-handing a bow. I might not have explained how to use bows before, actually. So how it works is when you hold a bow in one hand, and then you try to do the light attack with it, you instead holding it in two hands, and you then have 4 keys available to you. The triggers are used for switching your arrows. So like you can have 2 kinds of arrows equipped and you can switch with the triggers. You then have the light attack button for the hand that it was originally in. Like, say if you were holding it in your left hand, then you used it. Your left light attack button would then be your attack button, and the other one would be for zooming in, like I showed a little bit earlier. And now I can explain how dying works, because I was an idiot and got double teamed by 2 of those ballista room guys. So every time you die, you lose all your souls and a blood stain at where you used to be. Your skin turns green, your eyes lose all their texture. You might have already seen this when we were hollow before, in the beginning of the game. And your maximum health starts going down. As you can see, we've lost a sliver of our max health, showing that we're a little bit weaker. And this just keeps going and going, until eventually we lose all of our health. No, that doesn't happen. Until eventually we get down to max health. No, words. Eventually we get down to half health. Once you get down to half health, the health losing process stops happening, but by then all your hair is falling out, and you basically look like the guy we were at the beginning. That's just basically the default character. It's just all wrinkly and green and gross looking. There's a ring around halfway through the game that makes you look human, and even when you're hollow, and there's a ring that we can get very early on that halves the HP loss when you die. So like if you were at half health, it would bring you up to 3/4. These are pretty nice rings, but we can't get them until later, so we're just gonna have to live with our hollowing until we get those rings or whatever. Or until we decide to use a human effigy. Also, when you're in hollow form, you cannot summon people. You may have seen summon signs scattered around and that sort of thing. We can't see those anymore now that we're hollow. So yeah, we can no longer summon people into our worlds to help us, which is definitely annoying. But since we were going solo the entire game, basically, anyway, we're just going to go with it. I'm probably still going to summon help for most of the bosses. But there are defects to that, and I'll explain that when I get there. Actually, I might as well explain that now, because there's really not much to talk about with me just beating on these guys a whole bunch. It's, whenever you summon a phantom, all the enemies get slightly higher resistance to your damage. So, like, say you were doing, like, 300 damage or something. This is all just made up numbers. 300 damage a hit, like, with a spell or something. And then you summon a sub-phantom in your world, you start doing, like, 200. It's not that drastic, not even close. But it's just an example I just came up with in my head. It's not even close to those numerical values, I'm sure. Anyway, we just picked up the Great Soul Arrow sorcery, which is, I already explained how to do spells and that sort of thing, and a shield, which is okay, but it's not great. Yeah. So this, the defect of enemies having more resistance becomes especially apparent on bosses. Like for a super sorcerer character I had, my soul spears were obliterating bosses until I summoned someone, and suddenly I was doing less damage and I couldn't hold my own as much, so I had to have a phantom help me, which is why they're there, of course. Generally, having phantoms makes the boss easier unless they die. If they die before you get to the boss, if they die before you get to the boss is just normal, like it would be if you had the amount of phantoms that you had. But if the phantom dies while you're in the boss, then you have to live with the beefed up boss with no phantom, which makes it incredibly difficult. So we're mostly going to go solo unless we can have phantoms we can trust. That chest was trapped, as you may have seen. It spewed poison mist at us when we tried to open it. There's an even worse trap, which I like, which is called the crossbow trap, I believe. You open it, a puff of white smoke, and then there's a crossbow that shoots arrows and that shoots crossbow bolts in 5 directions, going in a half circle around it. Shoots 3 barrages and then it disappears. It's really hard to avoid and you die a lot. That was a Pharaoh's Lockstone key I just opened there. We used our Pharaoh's Lockstone, and then an illusory wall appeared. Simply hit where the face is, and there's almost always something behind it. In this case, a titanite slab, which enforces weapons up to +10, which is the highest they can possibly get. Weapons and armor, actually. But it only works for weapons that are already +9, so we have to get up there on our own. And the Chloranthy ring, which is, in my opinion, one of the best rings in the game. It increases your stamina recovery speed. Set stamina is used for everything. Literally everything. It's always a good idea to have this ring on, unless you have a specific ring for your specific build that makes your specific build better. So, like, say for a sorcerer or something, there's a specific ring that gives you +5 intelligence, and if you needed a whole bunch of other rings, like attunement slots and that sort of thing, then you keep them.
Traveling all alone in these treacherous times.
I recognize that spear.
Well, I hope you have a very
That
good
armor.
reason.
It's
Oh.
Patches.
Who am I to judge? My name is Pate.
No, you're Patches.
I journey hither and thither.
Patches the hyena. The guy who kicks you down a pit twice.
Be careful out there. There's talk of unsavory bandits who prey upon travelers like yourself.
Like you.
Oh yes, you be cautious if you go any farther. There's treasure in there for certain, but the entrance locks from behind.
He's telling us that?
I saw the same design earlier.
He's certainly making
and
himself
it's the
out to be a
same
lot
contraption
kinder than
I'm sure
Patches. But he
Our
still
leader's
locks us in
warrior,
there.
you see, and he insisted that he go inside first. The rather brusque fellow tried to swipe the lid for himself, but it trapped him inside.
No, it was you, Patches.
I still have the gent's ring. I do hope he wasn't harmed. I'll leave this one to you. I'm worried about what might be inside. I'll leave this one.
Sure, Patches. Doesn't lock until we go get a bit further, so we can't see that it's definitely Patches who's doing that, but, well. Hey, there's archers. It's no fun. I think I do like this longsword moveset. It's quick and it does a lot of damage, or at least for our level. Especially because it's on fire. Swing, swing. Yeah. Oh no, it's a trap. It's a trap. Bah. Someone remind me to put a picture of Admiral Akbar in there. It's a trap. Bah. Okay, I'm done. Anyway, 3 guys, and this is usually where I die. If you die in this area, I'm pretty sure you can't come back in. Actually, I'm sure there is a way, but it's later in the area, and I've never really gone on it. So yeah. It's pretty tough to recognize when you can get back in here, and besides, it's really not that good. I think the best treasure in the area is like hidden behind an illusory wall that's almost impossible to spot, that I only know of because I watched someone else in a video accessing it. And it's really not even that good. Die. Okay. And again, I guess they don't really die because they're hollow and they just respawn. Let's see. I'm going to leave a message here to warn people about that ambush. This is how messages work in this game. You get certain phrases, and then you can like be wary of, or something ahead, and you get to pick something for them to be wary of. In this case, I'm going to say be wary of trio. I'm going to press A again, and I can add another phrase onto it with a comma or any of these transition phrases. Tap A again, and I can insert another phrase. Be wary of trio, orientation, left. Be wary of trio, comma, left. That means there's going to be a trio of enemies that comes at them from the left. You may have seen messages like that littered around everywhere. Now that we've left our message, if someone should rate up our message... Now there's the illusory wall right there. If someone were to rate up our message, we get an instant heal, like a life gem, but better. Less than an Estus flask, but more than a life gem. So, if you see a message that helps you, always rate it up, because the owner could almost always use a heal. And you know, you could save their lives. So in this chest is the best treasure in the area, a sorcerer's staff and an amber herb. Sorcerer's staff is used as a catalyst for casting sorceries, which is generally focused around damage and specific weird ways of doing it. I may have already explained spells, but we'll get to it when I can actually show you how to do spells. And then we'll just backstab this guy. Is he dead? He's not dead. There. Stab him while he's getting up and we'll just be done with it. And then out here is a little bridge. Now, I'm almost certain there's a way to get to the other side of that bridge. Of this bridge, sorry. Of this bridge. And drop down from there, grab that item, you know, all that stuff. There's actually, I'm pretty sure, a ladder over there you can get up to it with. I'm pretty sure I might actually get up there myself. How you get back in is you go on top of there and drop to the other side. But here we're going to drop down to Pate. Or Patches.
Well, I see you managed to escape.
Yeah, no thanks to you.
I hope that brave warrior didn't come a cropper either. Be careful out there. There's
Like you. The white sign soapstone allows us to place bigger signs.
Across the fissures between worlds.
Allows us to answer said calls, actually.
Well, I hope. Be careful out. Well, I hope.
He certainly sounds a lot nicer, that's for sure. But the sprongly doing does not lie. When we left his presence, it perked up in excitement. Anyway, let's come out here. But wait, there's firebomb throwers and a turtle. So you can probably imagine if the firebomb throwers should hit some of those black barrels, they will explode. It will hurt turtle quite a bit. And it's generally not good for your health. So we should try to avoid getting that to happen unless we want it to happen ourselves. Like, for instance, with our flaming longsword. Of course, this would damage us heavily too, so we're not going to do that. Ow, my head is on fire. I ran out of Estus flasks, I'm going to have to use life gems. They're a lot slower, but they still work. This guy is your heavy-duty enemy. Giant hammers, swings that just knock you flat. A shell on his back to protect you from backstabbing him. And basically overall sturdiness. This guy is the tough one to take down. So we're going to have to fight carefully like we do with those ogres. Near the beginning, if you remember them. Let's make a right here because forward is the way we're supposed to go. Over here is a fallen giant. Nothing happens when we touch him, of course. He's just a tree. It's just a tree now. Poor giant. But wait! A large soul of a lost undead. That's something. Yeah. Let's head up here. I believe this ladder is the one I was pointing out earlier. It is. This is how you can get back into that area. And it gives you a light crossbow. If you recall, we did get bolts earlier for it, so we can now shoot crossbow things. Or we could if we had 13 strength. Oh well. Yeah, crossbows are mostly focused on base damage being high. Not very much on scaling at all. There's a brazier you can light with a torch. Maybe there's a secret wall in there somewhere, I don't know. Aha, a jump. See if I can make it. Yes. And a soul of a nameless soldier and a torch. That's good. Yeah. Now here's those firebomb throwers we fought earlier. Let's miss our plunging attack and go head on. Because we're tanks like that. Woo! And then let's get murdered because we're being idiots in Dark Souls. I should take care of them. And there's an iron chest. Ooh. These almost always have something good in them. A mail breaker and an infantry helm. Okay, the mail breaker is a tiny little dagger. It doesn't say that it's a dagger. It says it's a short, slightly stubby thrusting sword, but it's a dagger. Really, it's just a pokey you sword. I don't much like it. It's more of a rapier than anything else. The normal infantry helm, as you can see, is definitely better than the hollow infantry helm in every respect. It doesn't have the sprungity doing though, so we're gonna stick with ours. Let's head the way we're supposed to go now. Yeah. Up here, item. A life gem and a homeward bone. Yay. We have noticed that door right there. We can't open that until we get the soldier key, which we get from killing the boss. Yeah, we're gonna be back here for quite a while. No, stop. Oh, here's this guy. Let's see if we can. No, he turns too pro. Too pro for me. Let's guard break him, and then we get a critical attack. Yeah, that's how guard breaking works. You do a kick, which is tap forward and light attack, and then you attack him while he's guard broken, and you get a critical attack. It's definitely easier to pull off than a backstab, but it requires someone to be holding up a shield. I'm pretty sure, at least, you might be able to do it otherwise, but I doubt it. Chest ahead, therefore try dwarf. Oh, that was kind of funny. I think I rated it. Ambush. Oh yes, there's an ambush ahead. Up here's that guy, and then immediately behind you is another guy. But he doesn't come out until you show your face. So what are we gonna do? We're out of arrows, but we have bolts. You know what we can do with these bolts? Nothing, because we can't use our crossbow. Over there's the enemy. I mean, we could use our crossbow, maybe. It wouldn't do enough damage. It would suffer a severe penalty. but we could try. Or, I should remember something. If you two-hand a weapon, its strength requirement is halved. Basically meaning we can two-hand our crossbow just fine. So, it's like if you're trying to use a big great sword, two-handing it would obviously be easier, right? Because you aren't holding it in just one stubby little arm. So, logically, two-handing a weapon lowers its strength requirement. There's no way like that to lower the dex requirement, but, well, it makes wielding big weapons easier, that's for sure. I believe it's halved. I could be wrong. It might not be like halved, but it's close. And there we got a halberd. This is one of the better weapons in the game if you know how to use it properly. Does quite a bit of damage. Works like an axe on a spear. It's really good, but it takes a lot of stats. So we're not going to use that yet because we can't. Yep. Quick edits, because no one saw that. Yeah, there wasn't just a jerk there. What are you talking about? There wasn't anything. And here we are in the last little bit in the above ground forest of fallen giants. Crystal lizard! I need to kill this. No, 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 no! You got in my way! Crystal lizard. Oh, crystal lizard got away. Those guys are some of the most annoying enemies in the game. They're not really enemies, really. They run away from you. The little blue things that when they see you, they run away. And if you don't manage to kill them, you don't get anything from them, and they're basically just there as cosmetics. But if you do manage to kill a crystal lizard, and you do manage to get to its body and loot what was there, then you get a large amount of really rare upgrade materials, like twinkling titanite, which is the hardest upgrade material to get, which is basically just like upgrades things that can't be upgraded. Everything in this game can be upgraded. Most of it takes normal titanite, but the rest takes twinkles, which is really hard to come by, but those crystal lizards almost always drop it. They also drop other kinds, like fire drake stones, which lets you infuse your weapon with fire, but you need a special blacksmith for that. We'll get there later. As you can see, we opened our little shortcut door. You may have noticed that elevator I did not go on. That was the way to the last giant boss. Our sword is at risk, and we can't really afford to switch out. We don't have time for that, so we're going to use a two-handed shield technique. We get more blocks, and we can bash. This is something you do not see being done every day. Heavy attack is like that. Of course, we're knocking back too far to do a chain. First order problem, so my knockback is too high, I can't do a chain attack. This guy's using a halberd, in case you couldn't tell. This is going to take a while, but it's going to be funny to watch. Don't think we can backstab this guy, not with a shield. Nah, not even going to bother. His jump's too skilled, bruh. Eh. Ah. Die. I don't want to use my at-risk sword. Don't want to break it and have to take it back to the blacksmith and spend souls on it. Eh. Eh. I'm gonna kill you eventually. I'm gonna kill you. Eh. Yes! 90 souls. Worth every bit. Worth every, shield attack. Yeah. Let's head back up to the bonfire, and then I'm gonna take you down. No, I'm letting him go to the last giant, yeah. But first, let's buy some things. Okay, she'll definitely leave for Majula once we kill the last giant, I believe. Let's go spend some of our souls before we go down and fight that boss. Because that boss can be really tough if you don't know what you're doing. But if you do know what you're doing, it's pretty easy. But still, there's a chance, with every enemy, that we will lose all these souls, and we're going to use them. So we don't lose them. Use it, or you lose it. Yeah. Let's consume all these soul items we have. Dum-dee-dum-dee-dum. Let's go I guess there's nothing else I really want to buy, so let's just talk to her and then, yeah. Let's upgrade our strength a little bit. I'm sure there's something else we can buy. So now I believe we can use our crossbow one-handed. That's good. We can also use this yellow quartz longsword. It's... I guess it's good. Light, still very stable, but breaks easily due to corrosion. Looks yellow, too. Yeah. Basic longsword moveset. Okay, okay. Yep, it's a longsword. Just like it says on the label. Of course, the fire longsword does a bit more damage, including its fire damage. Weighs a bit more, though. Oh well. We'll live with it. At least this large leather shield, because it's actually pretty good, and it's fairly light, too. Let's go in here and see if there's... Well, I know there's nothing in there we can buy. Maybe we can talk to Shadaqua. Enchanter. No. No, no rings that we really need. We can talk to the armor. Let's see, what could we buy? Ah, yes. Do we already? We don't already have one of those great shields.
Well,
Now let's go explore the mansion with all these souls. Because past me is an idiot and doesn't just want to spend them. Just get the great shield, dummy. You can use it later. Ah, an item. A Pharaoh's Lockstone. That's the other way you can get one early on in the game. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That way, that's basically just a free flooring ring and titanite slab if you want to use it that way. But there's plenty of other ways you can use Pharaoh's Lockstones. So down there's the way that the map is, but up here is a few more items. Let's take a look around. It's not really a big place, is it? It's not much here, it's all worn down anyway. Praise the sun. Ah. And open up this. 3 titanite shards and 3 torches. That's quite the haul. It's 15 minutes of torch. And +2 upgrade for any weapon. Or +3 if you already have it at +2. Yeah. Titanite shards upgrade a bit weird. Anyway, let's head down to that bottom bit, see what we can see about this map. And those creepy noises coming from further down. Over here... is there anything here? No? What's on? That. That is a map of Drang Lake. A lot of people don't see it at first, but, well, there it is. Every time you light a primal bonfire, which is found after the big bosses, or beat a big boss or whatever, a new flame is lit on the map, and there's literally just a little fire burning in a corner if you work like that. Yeah. So you don't really need to come down here much, but Kale, if you keep him around that long, he will give you an item if you light all the torches. This nice flash shard down here, that's kind of nice. The skeletons down here always drop human effigies, and if you should bonfire aesthetic, the Majula bonfire basically respawns all the enemies around it, and makes them all a bit harder. There would be 3. There would be 1 skeleton per bonfire aesthetic. So, like, if you put another one in, there would be 2, and if you put another one in, there would be 3. I'll wait until I explain those later. Yeah, because, well, I'll use them later, probably. A curved greatsword. Hold both hands to make parrying possible. Basically, it's like a curvy moveset, you know? You just, like, twirl it around. Of course, since we don't have enough strength to use it, we look like an idiot using it. So, let's switch over to something we can use. Yeah. Yeah. Rah. Back out this way. We have a few more souls we can spend at Moglin or at the Emerald Herald, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's buy us a Twin Dragon Great Shield. We're going to use that later. It takes 20 strength, but it's worth it. Maybe we can even use these last few to get us going on that path to 20. What is past me doing? He's gonna go shop at Melenchi or something? I don't even remember. Past me and future me do not necessarily have synchronous memories. I guess I'll just save the rest of them. I mean, it's not really... I can just get him back, and it's not really that much, really. Yeah. I mean, we can save him, and then after the boss, we can spend all of the souls. It's a meme. Laugh. Laugh at my funny joke. Should spend all the souls, and once you can get more. Yeah. There is one more enemy before we fight the boss. And a door. A mysterious door that is locked. We can't open that quite yet, so let's not. In case you're wondering, it leads down into the fire lizard pit from a different direction. But the key is like way later in the game. It's like in the Iron Keep, which is where one of the big bosses is. Which is probably the second to last one you want to go to. But first things first, let's fight the last giant. Where's his face? Looks like he's been skewered and poked by thousands of swords. Or no, more like tens. Poked by many. Trapped under rocks. Skewered by a giant pillar. This guy is not happy. And now we get to fight him. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna use my crossbow. Shoot him a few times until we run out of bolts. We can always buy more from the blacksmith if we need to. We're doing pretty good damage, actually. Let's stay behind him, as you should do with most bosses. Actually, pretty much every boss. Except the Flexile Sentry, because that guy does not have a back. We'll show you that when we get there, of course. Stay behind him. Do not shoot until you're behind him. Ah, screw it. Yeah. At least if he attacks, you need to know how to roll all the way. Yeah. Okay, we're starting to run out of bolts. We only have 7 left. We were at around 15, I believe, when we started. So we're going to have to whack out his legs eventually. That's a little bit quicker than using crossbows. Of course, doesn't mean we have to get up close and personal with this guy, and puts us at risk to his stomping attacks. Because really, a boss this size has stomping attacks. It's just like, not even a question. Oh, he also rips off his own arm to use as a club. So yeah, watch out for when that happens. Let's lock onto his legs. He has 3 separate lock-on points because he's so big. Both of his legs, and then closer up on his body in case you're using a ranged weapon. You don't want to look at his legs, or if you want to keep tabs on his whole form to watch for cues to when he's attacking. So yeah, just watch out for the club. It does more damage. I suppose you should watch out for him because he is most definitely armed. Yeah. I'm hilarious! Anyway, let's Few more, few more. The number one trick with all these bosses, do not get greedy. If you rush in there for the last hit, chances are you're gonna do just enough damage to not kill him. He's gonna stomp you, and you're gonna die, and you're gonna cry and scream for hours. It's not fun. Anyway, we now have the Soul of the Last Giant and the Soldier Key. Now this is where most normal people would end the episode, but I have one thing I want to do. Actually, two things. One, I want to buy the cat ring, which we have just enough souls for now because I saved them. Yeah. We're gonna buy the silver cat ring, I believe. And we're gonna use the soldier key on not that door, but all those other ones that are like orange. Actually, no, that's next episode. Since we're out of crossbow bolts, let's go ahead and unequip that. Gives us a bit more roll room. We're gonna go buy the silver cat ring, and we're gonna do a whole bunch of jumps. We are going to jump down into the flame lizard pit, and we're gonna grab ourselves all those items that are down in there. That's gonna take a while, and I'm gonna die a lot while doing so because this is a suicide run. And as you can probably expect, you die in suicide runs. So yeah, if you're not familiar with the concept of a suicide run from my previous videos, basically you're running into a late game area to grab a late game item, and when you die you go back to the last bonfire you rested at, so logically you get to keep the item. So you run into a late game area, grab the late game item, and then you have a late game item to use early game. Often though you can't actually use it, but well, we'll get started on that. Now this is a round where a lot of people would just say like, oh, I'm gonna use all my souls on leveling up and I'm gonna be a super soldier or whatever. But we're gonna get a late game item so that we'll be better in that respect. Plus the silver cat ring is useful for many other purposes. Mostly when you're in danger of falling, of course.
You do have a rather pleasant scent.
Do I smell good?
I'm quite fond of.
Oh, I do smell good. Yay. Silver cat ring. And now we can fall very long distances. So, the soul of the last giant, I'm gonna do a little bit of looking up, can be traded into one of the two boss soul merchants, which are unlocked later in the game, to give you a super hammer, which we are going to use later game. It's really quite a nice hammer, but well, it might not have a great moveset, but it'll work. I mean, it is more of a late game weapon, considering that you can only get it in late game. Yeah. We'll keep the soul around so we can get that weapon.
Is that a shop? Here.
Let's go ahead and turn in our Estus Flask shard, because I will not forget about it this time. I will have my Estus. It's mine. Oh hey, here's Melentia. Or whatever her name was.
You again? Go on. It's on the cheap for you.
This merchant has a special feature now. Not only does she sell infinite life gems, but she'll also sell the armor sets of any NPC that you choose to kill. Except the Emerald Herald and a couple other ones like that. So like, say if you killed Moglin, you'd be able to buy his armor set, which has a special effect that I believe gives you more souls. We're gonna buy that hat, just to have something. It raises our item discovery by a little bit, so it's always nice to have. And it looks amazing. I mean, honestly, just look at that. Can't really tell, but it gives you a monocle. How can you not like monocles? They're pretty fabulous. So, these next 10 minutes are me dying terribly, but in the process getting loot. So, let's go do the Dark Souls thing. Yeah, down the ladder. Kill the dudes. Kill the dudes. Kill the dudes. Okay, we can make this. Let's heal up to full just to be sure. We can make this. Oh wow, that's actually not as damaged as I thought it would be. With the silver cat ring, almost all the damage is negated. So, a fire drake stone, useful for infusing weapons with lightning, and fireballs, which are useful for infusing yourself with fire. Why did I say lightning? I'm weird. These guys are fun to fight. They spin around literally as fast as you can walk around them. They're not fun to fight. Large soul of a proud knight, which is useful for a very large quantity of souls. An item we did not get yet, an iron chest behind that fire lizard, and a lot of beautiful things. So yeah, this is gonna be fun, guys. Wait for the loading screens. I should probably start editing those to be a bit shorter, but meh. Let's de-equip a few of our armor and stuff like that so we can be a bit more on the defensive. Can't use that yet. Makes me sad. Shield with higher fire resistance. That actually has higher fire resistance, but it's actually terrible in that respect because it has less stability. So, we'll just go at it again, I guess. I'll be leaving in every run where I get an item or something momentous happens, so. Yeah. Yay, hollow soldier leggings, whoop-de-doo. Won't be needing my Testis down there, it takes too long to drink. So the trick with these suicide runs is you want to be fast. You want to move fast, you want to think fast, you want to pick up items fast. The Hawk Ring, which increases the range of bows. We're going to want that around. Well, we're not going to kill that guy anytime soon. He turns around too fast. Who made him do that? What was the genius that said, alright, if we should have an enemy, you can't go around? That's kind of the point of Dark Souls, is circling around them. Yeah. As you can see, my hair is starting to fall out. I've de-equipped a few of my armor pieces to give me a bit more maneuverability, but I did not get any items past a couple runs. I'm starting to get more and more hollow. In fact, I'm at full hollow right now. As you can see, my health is at max.
Drat. Don't spend your whole life in transit. You hear?
Okay. We are going to buy some bolts so we can kill that dude. And lucky for us, there was a soul item down there. Consume that. 3,000 souls. What can we get with 3,000 souls? Buy item. Arrows do cost less than bolts, but these do more damage. Yes, heavy bolts. 30 heavy bolts. We're gonna make this work. We are. To equip the bolts. We're gonna kill one of those fire lizards. And then we're gonna... So, the iron chest takes too long to open without killing the fire lizard. So naturally, we kill the fire lizard. Now you might be saying, oh, we can't do that from down there, he circles around too fast. Well, my answer is obviously the bolts. We stand up top, and we shoot at him. Pretty simple. Works like a charm, I'd say. Another interesting feature is I've killed all of the guys. Like, literally, I've killed them so many times that they stopped respawning. It's great. It's just great. So if you kill an enemy, I believe it's around 15 times or something smaller than that, they simply stop respawning. This makes the strategy of throwing yourself at an area, as I believe a famous YouTuber once said, like firing yourself out of a cannon at a brick wall. It works. It works better in this game because they stop respawning. However, this also has a negative defect. You can't grind them. Also said by the said famous YouTuber. Yahtzee Cross High, I believe, or whatever. He's 0 punctuation on The Escapist. You should go watch him, he's pretty cool. Anyway. Shameless promotion, yeah. What he does is... You can't grind them anymore. So there's a feature added into the game. Bonfire Aesthetics. which basically resets an entire area to factory setting, but except for iron chests and ferrous lockstone contraptions, that sort of thing, at the cost of bonfire setting, and it also makes all the enemies harder. So this is the way that you can grind on them, but it's really only for more experienced players who want to get that one item that they drop very rarely. We killed a fire lizard, 900 souls, and he dropped an item too. Okay, now the trick here. See, can we see the other fire lizard from here? I don't think we can. He only appears when you get closer, which is really annoying. So we're just gonna have to run past him. Oh well. Use the human effigy. I'm not sure we can survive that drop when we're not human. Use a life gem to get us back to full health, because human effigies do not do that. Okay. Let's drop down. Chug ourselves an Estus. Try to be sneaky about it, unless the in case the other fire lizard sees us. A cracked red eye orb, whoop-de-doo. That's the other fire lizard. We can't see them from up top, which is annoying. Flame quartz ring +1, that gives us extra flame resistance, which is pretty good. You may have noticed that I de-equipped some of my heavier rings, which is basically just a tactic by me to hopefully save some weight. I survived. Hopefully he doesn't follow us. Okay, there's more fire lizards down here, as you can probably expect. We're gonna make a dash straight for the Rebel Great Shield. Not die. Die. Okay, now I can show you what the Rebel Great Shield is like. Statistically, it's the best in the game. And that's saying something, because there's a lot of great shields in here. But, well, it's only used for specific circumstances. It is the great shield that has the highest elemental resistances ever. So you can see like 90s and 85s across the board, a 65 stability, and a 70 in physical resistance. This makes it almost useless against physical opponents. Basically anyone with a physical attack, which is almost every enemy in the game. So, yeah. It's great. So we're not going to be using that anytime soon, because almost all the enemies in the beginning are based around, like physical attacks. We can't even use it in early game because it takes 29 strength. So, there was one more item down there, and I am legally obliged to show you every item that I know where it is. So we're gonna make a run down there and grab it. Ow. Don't kill me. I'm too beautiful. Let's chug ourselves an Estus. Yeah. Come on, come on. He licked me. He licked me! A cracked red eye orb. Whoop-de-doo. Over here is the door that is locked. Remember that one that was behind the soldier? Yep, that's it. And now, there's no way out. There. That's our way out. Okay. That's about all I have time for in this episode. Well, it's more than I have time for, that's for sure. Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to call that good. We'll explore the soldier key areas and move on to the next area in the next episode. The next. I will see you guys later. We'll finish up the soldier key areas, including an extra boss and a new area with a new bonfire. A lot of good things. Class dismissed. See you guys in the next episode.